Good morning, everyone. Lots going on as usual. Today is Wednesday, July 30th, 2025, and the Online Safeties Act in England is being challenged by the United States or by Americans in the United Kingdom who are being impacted by the Online Safety Act. And the Justice Center is also talking about how there are senators trying to bring back the Online Safety Act in Canada. So we are going to have to be dealing with that. They are going to try and silence the internet, and that's not very good. And we're watching the opening moves of that in right now, right as we live and breathe. That's what's happening. Unbelievable stuff. Cabinet being assembled now. Too little, too late, guys. My gosh, too little, too late. Oh, I forgot to update my stream title. Oh, well. Too little, too late by a lot, and that's not great. Doug Ford walks back the work permits with a video this time. So yesterday I told you that that's what he was doing. Today he talks about it a little bit. Tabloid pictures of Justin Trudeau are everywhere, and I'm just going to mention it as a joke. Ferrygate, East and West, the eastern ferries are being paid off with an undisclosed amount by Mark Carney, and the western ferries, they're asking for the same thing the eastern ferries want. And that's interesting, because I was wondering why the difference. Why does the federal government pay so much for eastern ferries and ignore the western ferries, and why does that seem okay? Not sure how that came about, but Dave Eby's upset about it, and Mark Carney is paying off the ownership of the eastern ferries while reducing the amount people pay in tariffs, but he won't disclose how much the payoff is. So that's very interesting stuff going on there. And New Zealand is calling Canada out, and it's almost like an episode of Flight of the Conchords, where they're throwing shade our way for our supply management. They unwound that years ago. Supply management's way outdated. So there's lots to get to. Let's get to it. Sorry for the name mess up in the stream today. I'll have to fix it in post-production, but oh well. Here we're going to be starting with trade, and Mark Carney is talking about assembling his cabinet now. It's Wednesday. Like, you couldn't have done it on Monday, assemble the cabinet early in the week. CTV News is reporting PM Carney assembling cabinet today to talk U.S. trade and the Middle East. So Donald Trump on the 11th announced a 35% tariff on a whole bunch of countries, and Canada too. And I think it's outside of the USMCA covered products. So I think if you're under USMCA, then nothing changes. But outside of USMCA, if you import into the United States or export into the United States, then you will have a 35% tariff. And nobody really has taken that seriously. Nobody's talked about that yet. There was a meeting between Carney and the premiers on the 23rd, which I thought was going to be his cabinet, but it didn't seem to be the cabinet. And now they're talking about it again on the eve of the deadline. And oof, I just don't think that they're taking it seriously at all, and they never have. And it doesn't seem like Trump is bluffing at this point. We've gone through a bunch of times where Trump didn't follow through and delayed the tariffs, but Letnick said yesterday, no delays, no nothing. August 1st, that's that. Shut it down, right? So we'll see how it all works out, and we'll be paying attention, and I'll let you know what happens on August 1st, or maybe August 2nd, because August 1st is really July 31st. Carl says, here's the strategic masterstroke. So Trump was in Europe yesterday or over the weekend, and he made the biggest deal in history, and it's a big economic deal. Everybody's focusing on the 15% tariff, and that's a big deal, but it's not the real story. The headline's being buried, and Carl here wants to unbury the headlines. So here's what really happened, what we missed while we were paying attention to the 15% tariff and the mayor of London and all of the other things that Trump said. This is what he did while he was over there. Certain sectors got complete exemption from the tariffs. Aircraft and components, semiconductor equipment, critical chemicals, all were exempt. Some agricultural products. These aren't random. They're strategic supply chains. Carl continues, while media focused on the tariff headlines, Trump secured something far more valuable, a guaranteed customer for American energy exports, massive European investment in U.S. infrastructure and defense, a framework that other countries are now desperate to replicate. The speed is shocking. Just months ago, we were staring at potential trade warfare. European companies faced supply chain chaos. Markets were in panic mode. Now, both sides have a predictable framework they can plan around. This creates a completely new template for international relations. Instead of traditional diplomacy, Trump is using commercial diplomacy. Countries can now negotiate lower tariffs by making massive investment pledges. Japan already proved this works. $550 billion got them the same 15% rate. So if the country invests into the United States, Trump will reduce the tariffs because look at all that money they're investing in the United States. Carl continues, the ripple effect are already starting. Treasury Secretary Bessent confirms 75 plus countries are now bringing their best offers. Everyone wants to cut a deal before facing the full tariff threat, except for Canada. Single tier. This is the new playbook for American economic dominance. What the media won't tell you, European leaders are publicly celebrating, but privately they know the truth. This isn't a partnership. It's America collecting tribute from its largest trading partners. Okay, sure, why not? Europe just agreed to fund American energy independence. Steel and aluminum tariffs remain untouched. Pharmaceuticals are still on the negotiation table, but the framework is set. Massive investments in exchange for market access. This is how the media rebuilds, or this is how America rebuilds its economic empire, one deal at a time. And so it's an interesting perspective. And the numbers, I thought he went through the numbers and maybe I missed it. Oh, okay, yeah, maybe I did miss it. Europe agreed to spend $1.4 trillion with America over the next 3 years, $750 billion in American energy purchases, and $600 billion in additional U.S. investments. Those numbers are staggering. And so the 15% tariff is really the smallest part of this deal. I think it's very interesting, and we are not doing anything. Our movement is none. We're not doing anything. We're pretending that we have some kind of chance of winning this trade war. And no, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Not even a little bit, not even a little tiny bit. And so what happens next is Canada enters the end of July with no deal in place. August 1st, trade tariffs go up to 35%. What happens next? I don't know. Do people get upset then? I don't know. Susan, let's move on to free speech. This is a little time travel from 2016. This is a photo taken of a young man holding a sign in San Francisco in the spring of 2016. Okay. And the sign says the Federal Reserve is going to crash the dollar to usher in the new world order. Jesus loves you. So interesting, right? Interesting stuff happening right there. Basil the Great says Americans challenge Online Safety Act in court. Preston Byron. Sorry, I'm getting that terribly. Preston B. has announced he will be taking Ofcom to court after they threatened American citizens with legal action. The Online Safety Act is abhorrent. It must be stopped. So, yeah, we are going to barrel into this, and it doesn't seem like they're going to wait until Trump's out of office. So the UK is, and Keir Starmer yesterday was celebrating how much free speech there is in the United Kingdom. And everybody knew that was a lie. Everybody, the people asking the questions, Donald Trump, Keir Starmer himself, his wife, everybody knew it was a lie. And yet they're pretending that free speech exists. I think within the framework of the online safety bill, and indeed in Canada in the framework of having an online harms bill, they think, oh yeah, free speech is being enshrined to make sure speech is free, but hate speech is not free, And that's asinine. That's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard, right? Like, you're free to go swimming, but if you go swimming, I'll arrest you. So you're not free to go swimming, right? So it's all about choices. Do you want to be arrested? Then you're not free to go swimming, right? Same thing. Justice Center says Senator Christoph Wells is pushing to revive Trudeau's lapsed internet censorship bill, C-63, aimed at regulating all online content, not just big streaming platforms. When they talk about banning hate speech, it means banning speech that they hate. To push back against internet censorship, please support the Justice Center. So you've got them standing up for this and mentioning it, which is more than a lot of people do. So good for them. And you can support them if you want to. Angelica says a Canadian street pastor is being forced to, quote, break down traditional thoughts about the LGBTQ community as a part of his court-mandated case plan. No. Nope. I don't think that they can do that. You can't mandate my thoughts. My thoughts are my own thoughts, and you do not get to mandate my thoughts or massage my thoughts or anything like that. Like, break down traditional thoughts? Nah, I'm good. I'm just going to leave my traditional thoughts right where they are. Since when is having a traditional viewpoint something that the government needs to correct? This is state-enforced ideology. And so Rebel News is reporting this. Case plan goals. A, subject struggles with seeing other viewpoints, working with him in terms of breaking down traditional thoughts pertaining to the LGBT community. Nope. That's a big nope. I would ask for another caseworker who respects my viewpoints and opinions. And if they can't find one, well, I guess this whole thing's done. That's that. Shawn, who is the preacher or the musician, Christian rocker at the center of this whole thing, is highlighting how Winnipeg is now denying permits for him. And I think this is yesterday, July 29th. Yeah, yesterday evening. He says, Winnipeg is now canceling our permit to worship outdoors next month, August. Did they not learn anything about what happened last week across Canada? This is going to backfire spectacularly. CBC News is reporting Winnipeg denies permit for controversial U.S. Christian musicians concert in the city's Central Park. Shawn F's August 20th concert is a part of Canada-U.S. tour, not operationally feasible, city says. Oh, it's not operationally feasible. We don't know. We put the microphones somewhere, and we don't know where they are. And also, we had a couple of extension cords that, really tied the whole thing together, and just gone. So we don't know where they are. So we can't operationally. It's not feasible, right? I don't think so, guys. Very, very interesting stuff going on with regards to all of this. When health and safety doesn't work, right? Like, oh, what's unsafe about this that is more safe about one of the Palestinian protests that you allow to go rage on for years? They can't answer those questions, so they're changing tactics. They are shapeshifters, and we just watch them shapeshift, like Odo, right? Or the T-2000 or the T-1000, right? For those non-Star Trek fans out there. Dozens of us. Matt says, breaking, Christians are now going after people who are gay with their music. No way. Dave Eby, say it isn't so. This is a person asking about Shawn, who's coming to BC to finish out the year. And Dave Eby accuses him of going after gay people with music, which is, I think, the plot of a Jack Black movie or something like that. Here we go.
Follow up, Brenna?
Yeah, please. This is a bit of a different one from a colleague. Premier, I just wanted to ask your reaction to an American singer, Shawn Feucht, who is affiliated with the MAGA movement in the U.S. He's performing in Kelowna and Abbotsford next month. What's your reaction to that?
Well, I mean, obviously, I don't share this man's politics. I disagree with him using music to go after people who are gay. I think it's pretty reprehensible, and I don't agree with the message that he's promoting.
Corky and the Juice Pigs had a song in the 90s called The Only Gay Eskimo, and the song was about he being the only gay Eskimo in his tribe, and the song is hilarious. It's hilarious. He's the only gay Eskimo. He's the only one he knows. It's very funny. Maybe I'll see if I can play it at the end. If I had the ability to pause this show, I would go find the link and I would play it for you, because it's supposed to be like, oh my gosh, you're not allowed to use music to go after gay people? What is music for? And not just gay people, like any people, right? Or just to have a banging beat, right? But I like political music. I really do. There's all sorts of. There's the Clinton one. What difference at this point does it make with Comey, Clinton Comey remix, right? There's Darth Nader, and he does the Joe Biden, no Biden, right? I love political music. I think it's so funny. And so like, it's ridiculous. And he's not talking about Corky and the Juice Pigs and the Only Gay Eskimo. He's not talking about that. But if you should go watch pause my show, go watch Corky and the Juice Pigs, and then come back, because you'll understand why I'm laughing. And it's hilarious, right? But this is Dave Eby at his worst. Like, come on, man. What a generalized, ridiculous bullshit statement. Oh yeah, free speech means nothing. You shouldn't go after people with music. Oh, come on. Like, there's got to be better people. There've got to be people with more sense. Really, honestly, genuinely. Okay. Here's Justice Center, and they're talking again. Justice Center for Constitutional Freedoms. They're talking again about Shawn, and they say, last week we witnessed politicians and governments respond to Shawn F's concert by violating Canadians' constitutional freedoms of expression and peaceful assembly. Government entities like Parks Canada, all sorts of different cities, signaling to all Canadians that they are willing to censor speech and suppress assembly in public spaces if they don't like the message. This week, our team of lawyers is working with Shawn's event organizers to hold these government actors accountable. Court cases are coming. Canada needs quieter, more modest, less adventurous governments. Support our efforts to defend fundamental freedoms in Canada by making a tax-deductible donation, they say. And all of this is concerning. And as ridiculous as Dave Eby's statements are, a lot of people will accept that on its face. They won't remember Corky and the Juice Pigs and the Only Gay Eskimo. They won't remember that people music is supposed to be kind of a mirror to what's going on. Like a good song is something that reflects what we're feeling and speaks to that as a culture. And lots of people like it because lots of people key into that theme or that feeling that the song's trying to emote or whatever. And then it goes across the world or wherever it goes because people relate to it, not because of some other reason, right? Like it has to be a good story. It has to resonate with you. And like, if that's about a gay Eskimo, well, so be it, right? Like people got to serve a niche, man. And so this is weak reasoning, and it's ridiculous to target this guy and make up random bullshit rules for his music that don't exist in music, really, and random bullshit rules for his assembly that don't exist for the Palestinians or the Muslim people, the people of the mosques, things like that. It's bullshit, and we should not accept it. Here is other speech.
Hey everybody. So since this morning, I've gotten some questions.
Here's other. I knew that was going to be fast. Here's some other speech related news, and people. I got my YouTube channel back, but my YouTube channel is you can't find it in the search. So that's super cool, right? But I still have my small YouTube channel as well, my Canada Poly Shorts. So whatever, it is what it is. I'm done fighting with YouTube. I'm just going to ride YouTube until it throws me out again, because I'm sure they will. But people don't seem to understand how insidious all of this censorship is, and even that it's real. Like this is a real thing that is happening to real people like me, because it does happen to me all the time. Censorship like this is always happening to me. And so Tulsi Gabbard is very famous. It's happening to her, and that seems wrong. And I mean, Shawn is famous too, right? He's a Christian singer guy. He's been doing his Christian singer thing for a decade and more. And so like he was at the Vancouver Olympics in 2010, he was saying. So he's been doing this a long time, getting big crowds, and he's being censored and attacked, right? So this is nothing new, but it's interesting how bold these people are getting. It's worth noticing how bold these people are getting. They're not just stopping with small creators like me. They're going after Trump allies in government, Tulsi Gabbard too, and they're doing the censorship stuff. And I think it's worth knowing about. So here's more free speech on the chopping block. Here we go.
Hey everybody. So since this morning, I've gotten some questions from people who are not familiar with the term shadow banning and are asking exactly what it is. So I want to take a minute to show you. For example, when people try to type my name into the search box on Instagram or the Discover box, my account does not show up. Whether you type in Tulsi Gabbard, it literally does not show up. I'm also getting a lot of reports from people who are trying to at my name, at Tulsi Gabbard, and mention me in their Instagram stories or posts, and they're getting a warning that says this account has posted false information. Obviously, they're not providing us or whoever's trying to post this examples of what this misinformation is or what exactly they're talking about. People try to tag me in an Instagram post and they get an error saying, we are restricting certain activity to protect our community. What are they protecting their community from? Nobody knows. Another thing is just with my posts, I would say that with the numbers of views and the numbers of likes, they're down. So that just gives you a little bit of an idea of what shadow banning is and what the effects are. You know, I was talking to somebody yesterday saying, hey, how come they're allowed to do this? I know very well that these big tech companies have a lot of Congress in their back pocket. And so while you'll hear Democrats and Republicans railing against, suppression, maybe, I don't know actually what the split is between Democrats and Republicans, but you'll hear politicians railing against, the power of big tech monopolies and something's got to be done. Well, Congress hasn't done anything yet. And big tech money is the reason why. So as long as we have these cowardly leaders in place, I don't anticipate any real change. So if you are not already, I encourage you to join me at tulsi.locals.com. You'll get to see everything.
There you go. So she's got a promotion. I don't know if this is an old video, but everybody is being impacted by this, and that's very, very concerning. I've confirmed that I have the Corky and the Juice Pigs clip. I thought maybe YouTube would have removed it, but I'm going to add it to the end of the show. And if you have the paid show, you will be able to see it today at the end of the show today because it's hilarious. And for everybody on the stream,
the song I'd like to play for you now.
I guess we're teasing it. Okay. Yes, years ago. So we will watch it at the end of the show today. And I've got to cut off the stream because that's just how things go these days. And so thanks for watching, everybody. And we will catch you tomorrow. And for everybody else,